Welcome back, everyone. Now, I'm going to talk about how to craft a very good cover letter. Now, we might think that a cover letter is just a simple thing, basically saying that, dear editor, so and so, this is my manuscript. I hope you accept it. But it's definitely more than that. Why do I say so? Think about it. When you receive a gift, it's very important that the packaging is nice because it entices you to want to open, unwrap that present to see what's inside. So this is the primary function of a cover letter because it creates the first impression for the editor. And of course, you want to create a very good first impression to entice the editor to want to explore your manuscript further. Now, basically, instead of making it pretty with no substance, there are a few key points to note. The very first thing is that you have to highlight the timeliness, the uniqueness, and the relevance of your work, which is basically communicating to the editor why your work is important and why he or she should care to even give your manuscript a chance for acceptance. And also, you have to highlight in your cover letter what is so interesting about this particular work and manuscript to the readers of the journal. Because you have to understand the work, one of the main responsibility of the editor is to increase the readership of the journal. So every contribution is important for the editor to achieve that. So basically, your manuscript must contribute to making the journal appealing and also potentially increasing the readership. And to talk about first impression, one of the best way to make a good first impression through your cover letter is through your writing style. Imagine if the editor is looking through your cover letter and is laden with spelling, grammatical mistakes, or if the ideas are all over the place, he or she is going to get a very bad first impression, and the internal bias will be formed, and that potentially, and most likely so, would sabotage the chance of your manuscript being considered. Now, a lot of people make the same mistake of basically copying what's in the abstract and just putting it into the cover letter, thinking that that is how you sell your research, basically by giving a summary of your study. Now, that is not true. Remember, in the earlier episodes, I talked about the 4 important questions that one should consider when writing a manuscript. Those 4 questions must be incorporated into your cover letter as well in a neat little package. So first of all, that aside, we need to also consider the editor's name. All right, you need to say dear so and so. Now, this is very important. You might think, well, that's a no-brainer, but that's not true because a lot of people tend to resubmit their manuscript if it's being rejected by the previous journal. So one thing that I need to stress is make sure you update the name of the editor, because a lot of people tend to forget that, and that is the first impression that you want to commit is that by stating the wrong editor's name. Now, in the first paragraph, after stating the editor's name, you will want to state clearly your manuscript title and also the article type. Is it an original article, or is it an editorial, or a communication, or a letter? And then you would give the background to the research. Okay, basically set the scene, why you're studying what you studied. And then the 2 more questions that you need to answer is that what was done and what was found. So basically your methods and your results. A line or 2 for each would be sufficient. And then after that, it would be a conclusion, which is basically what do your result findings mean? Now, at the end, there will be some mandatory fields such as the contact information of the corresponding author, declaration on any publication ethics, and some journals would actually allow you to suggest reviewers that you would prefer to look at your paper, or even talk about or even state the reviewers that you do not wish to review your paper. All right, and that is perfectly fine. There's nothing personal about that. Sometimes it could be a competitor or someone who may have a conflict of interest. So it's perfectly fine to suggest reviewers that you think are not suitable in reviewing your papers. You don't need to even give a reason for that. In the next episode, we will look at how a cover letter differs from an abstract and what are some of the components you can incorporate to make your cover letter interesting to give off a good first impression.